Okay, so I promised y'all that I would show you how to make my biscuits. What I did first is I measured out 2 cups of self-rising flour, okay? I also have milk. I have 1 cup of milk that I put a tablespoon of white vinegar in it, and I let it sit for 10 minutes. Okay, so I would do this first and let it sit while you're getting all the other things. Then I have a tub of all-purpose shortening, and that's all you need. And some extra flour, some extra self-rising flour. So this is 2 cups of self-rising flour, okay? Then I spread the shortening all in here. I just get some shortening and I use my fingers and I spread the shortening all in my cast iron skillet, okay? I preheat my oven at 500 degrees, or as high as you go, no more than 500. I don't think any other oven would be more than 500, but besides about 500 degrees, okay? Now, I make a nest in my 2 cups of flour, okay? So I'm making a nest. Hopefully you can see this, yeah. Okay, and then I already pre-made these, but I get, this is shortening, and I get 2 small eggs worth. So I have 2 small eggs, sizes of eggs of shortening, okay? Okay.
Shortening.
Then I get my milk and I put it in the center of that, okay? Now, I'm going to use just one hand. I took off my rings so I don't have any rings on. And I am going to just massage the shortening into the buttermilk.
Ew.
The milk that I made into buttermilk. I don't keep buttermilk in my refrigerator, so I make it with vinegar. Okay, now, I start putting in my flour, okay? And I start getting all my flour in, work it all in my dough. Okay, you do not want to work this too much. You want them light and fluffy. You don't want them tough. So let me see if I can get this in here. My oven is preheating while I'm doing this. It doesn't take long for this to get to where it needs to be. Now I use my clean hand and I take that off. And then let me get all this other dough. It'll come together. It's going to be sticky, but it will come together. Okay?
What do you think?
Okay. Now, I have some extra flour on my board that I'm going to flour my hands with and get that going. It's coming together. There we go. Okay, now I'm gonna go wash my hands real quick. It won't take me very long. Okay, now I use a cutting board. And I have a cutting board here. Let me get this out of the way. Put it up there in the sink. Okay. Now I'm going to lift out my dough. And this is self-rising flour that's on this board. Okay. And I'm going to pat. Maddie, can you get me a biscuit cutter, please? In that drawer, please.
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to pat this. I'm going to do half since this cutting board is a little smaller than what I'm used to. Okay, so I'm going to pat it to the thickness that I want.
You're doing the whole space for YouTube. Instagram.
Okay, so I just cut my circles in. Now, let me put this lid on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to scrunch these up. All of these are going to touch. Back together, pat it. You really want it to feel soft and not, you don't want to work it too much. You don't want your biscuits to be tough at all. Okay, let me get this part. A little bit more flour here so it doesn't stick. And you just pat it out, okay? Pat it out to the thickness that you want. And then you cut more. Now if you want them thicker than this, you can, but I'm doing them this size. If you want your dough to be wider, you can have a different cutter. That's fine too. I think my daughter gave me my wider cookie cutter, biscuit cutter. That's fine. See if I can get any more in there. Probably can't. Scrunch these up a little bit. At least get one more. There we go. Okay, this is my leftover dough. Usually I have more dough than this. And when I do have more dough than this, I put it in the refrigerator. And that will stay up to 2 days. And you can make fried pies out of it. And I have a video that I will post about that next. But this is what they look like, okay? So you're gonna put this, you just scrunch them up. That way they'll rise up and not out. So you rise up and not out. So that's why they're touching, okay? And you put this in your oven at 500 degrees. And then it depends on your oven. My oven, it takes about 10 to 12 minutes. Could be less on your oven, could be a little bit more. But it's an average around 10 to 12 minutes. I check them at 10 minutes, okay?